Did I talk to you about your public speaking part last time? Do you have a book yet?
Not yet.
And are you on your book tour this year?
No.
It's an interesting thing for me to bring up. So you can pretty much do anything that you put your mind to, right?
Except for right.
But let's say that you were in the wilderness and you had 11 children and nobody else, and you were the only one over the age of 8. All 8 children, or all 11 children are 8 and under. And you were in the north of Alaska, Yukon. It's not even on the map, it's too wildernessy. I think you find a way to make it work. You just get the job done. You do what you have to. You know, okay, we got to have warmth first. Okay, we got to find something to eat. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We need some water. Okay, well, okay. You know, stuff happens. You figure out what to do, and poof, you got hot and cold running water and both of your cabins that you built this winter.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, you can handle it, is what I'm saying. You're strong. You can handle what the world dishes out. You figure out what to do. You don't hear me talking like that to everybody, do you?
No.
No, but you're that way.
Okay.
You don't need to be rescued. You're just fine. But you have mass communications marked in your hand. That's writing and public speaking. So, sometimes people with hands like yours overcome ridiculously impossible circumstances. And then they have a story to tell that's interesting. Oh yes, I was kidnapped by polar bears when I fell out of the airplane, and somehow I survived and nobody else did, and somehow I taught the polar bears to speak English. Here, let me introduce you to Polly, the polar bear. People with hands like yours have ridiculous stories of survival to tell. And then, you know, they get an agent automatically and they could write a book and go on Oprah. But if you don't have some ridiculous story like that, what are you going to write about? And how are you going to go about doing this? This is an interesting question for somebody of your capabilities. Because if I told you that you couldn't do something, there's a part of you that goes, oh yeah, well I'll just show you I can do something. But now I'm saying, can you write your book? And now, right, yeah. So, am I the first person to mention this to you? Is it the first?
No.
And what did you do the other times this was mentioned? Did you laugh and kind of go like that?
Yeah.
Or did you go, I'll put it in my back pocket for later?
That too, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you were telling, let's just say that you were raised by polar bears or something, and you overcame some ridiculous thing, wouldn't the idea be to like inspire people to their possibilities? It's not like they're going to get kidnapped by polar bears, because nobody has to like prepare for that. But wouldn't the message be that my will to live was such that I found a connection to my will that served me when the polar bears were going to eat me? And I just knew they weren't going to eat me, and I came up with a way to not get eaten by polar bears who eat people when they don't have anything else to eat. So this is your message. The power of intention, the power of will. And here's part of what's interesting about this in your hands, is you're writing and talking to people who have like 6% of your will. They don't have your will. They'd have to focus on it, look at it, repeat after me. They'd have to get up in the morning and say, I have will, I can. I am me and I can. And then they have to say that once an hour. And then when they went to sleep, they'd have to be holding a book that had, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. They'd have to read Little Engine That Could every morning, and they'd have to read it before they ate lunch, and they'd have to read it before dinner to get them to do what you could do on a bad day. Because you have much more will. And when you decide that you can, well, you can. Because you decided. Other people can't hold that the way you can. It's like you decide, so you do. It's like people with hands like yours. They were smoking 3 packs a day for 30 years, they stopped. They decided on Tuesday, the 27th, that they weren't going to do it anymore, so they stopped. And then they say, well, if I stopped, you can stop too. No, they can't. They don't have the will. You do. But you can communicate to people in such a way that they can access the will that they have, and they can do enormous things. Because at that amount of will that they have, they're probably using 3% of the 8% of your will that they have. So basically, what you want to write about from my angle of observation is, yes, you can. Stop telling me why you can't.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So it's like you're the drill instructor, and you can climb over the obstacle real easy because you're in shape, and you got all these overweight, not in shape recruits, and they go, I can't, and actually they can't. They literally cannot. But they can get in shape and do it. So you have some sort of message of hope for people. But you're going to be writing to people who don't believe it. And if they were like you and could easily embrace what you have to say, they wouldn't need your book. They'd be too busy to stay here and listen to everybody's readings, because they'd be too busy doing something. The woman who left had a will that's kind of like yours. But it's not her message. She doesn't have that message for people. She has a different message. But I believe that you're here to tell people that to get something done, they have to access their will, and they need to do that. They need to do it on purpose. They need to do it as a decision and not wait for somebody else to do it, and not say that they can't. They have to practice it and get 1% better this month, and 2% better by next month, and 3% better by the month after that. By doing stuff, by practicing, by making them do stuff that they don't feel like doing sometimes. Get up a half an hour early next week. I can't do that. Yes, you can. Set the alarm. That'd be an interesting one. You can call your book Wake Up Early. That would be a big seller.